The red alert siren screamed through the Pentagon at 3:47 a.m. Code Black! All personnel evacuate immediately. But while thousands of military officers and government officials ran for the exits in panic, one person moved in the opposite direction. A woman in a janitor's uniform, pushing a cleaning cart through the chaos like she owned the building. Security footage would later show something impossible. The most beautiful cleaning lady anyone had ever seen, walking calmly into the heart of America's most secure facility while everyone else fled for their lives. But let's go back to where it all began. 12 hours earlier, when Maria Santos was just another invisible face in the Pentagon's endless hallways. Here's what the security cameras captured that night. Here's what would make this story classified for the next 50 years. The woman they thought was a simple cleaning lady wasn't just beautiful. She was carrying credentials that only 12 people in the entire U.S. government possessed. And when the biggest security breach in Pentagon history began unfolding, she would prove that sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one everyone ignores. Because Maria Santos wasn't cleaning floors. She was cleaning house. And her real job? It was about to save every life in that building. Welcome to Quiet Tales Studio. Before we dive into this story of hidden identities and deadly secrets, tell me in the comments where you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, hit that subscribe button and help us share these incredible tales. The Pentagon operated with Swiss clockwork precision. Every morning at 5:45, the building came alive with purpose. Military officers strode through corridors with classified briefings. Intelligence analysts hurried between secure communication centers. Defense contractors arrived for billion-dollar meetings. And Maria Santos pushed her cleaning cart through it all, completely invisible. At 28, Maria possessed the kind of beauty that should have stopped traffic. Long dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, olive skin that glowed even under harsh fluorescent lights, and dark eyes that seemed to hold secrets. Her janitor's uniform somehow managed to complement her elegant bone structure rather than hide it. Yet in 15 months of working the Pentagon's night shift, not a single person had truly seen her. People don't really see service workers. They see the uniform, the function, but never the person inside, which made her perfect for what she really did. "Evening, Maria," called Security Officer Johnson as she passed his checkpoint. He'd been greeting her the same way for over a year, his eyes never quite focusing on her face, never noticing that her cleaning supplies were arranged with military precision, or that her identification badge contained security clearances he'd never seen before. She moved through the Pentagon's halls with practiced ease, her cartwheels silent on polished floors. To anyone watching, she was simply another member of the invisible army that kept America's nerve center functioning. What they didn't see was that Maria memorized every conversation, photographed every document left on desks, and identified every person who entered the building's most sensitive areas. Because Maria Santos wasn't just a cleaning lady. She was the Pentagon's most valuable intelligence asset. Maria's cleaning route was carefully orchestrated to intersect with the Pentagon's most critical operations. Her first stop was always the Joint Chiefs Corridor, OYS, where she arrived precisely as morning briefings began. "Good morning, generals," she said softly, rolling her cart past the conference room where America's highest-ranking military officers discussed classified operations. "Oh, morning. General Patterson paused, realizing he'd never learned her name despite seeing her every day for months. "Maria, sir," she supplied helpfully, beginning to dust the conference room's outer walls. "Right, Maria, don't mind us." And just like that, she became invisible again. The generals resumed their discussion about troop movements in Eastern Europe, never noticing that Maria's dusting pattern allowed her to hear every word through the room's acoustic sweet spot. Her cart contained usual cleaning supplies, but hidden beneath false bottoms were recording devices sophisticated enough to pick up conversations through soundproof walls, cameras smaller than buttons, and communication equipment that could reach anywhere in the world. Maria had been recruited by the CIA straight out of MIT, where she'd earned dual degrees in electrical engineering and linguistics while completing advanced combat training. Her stunning looks and natural ability to blend into the background made her perfect for deep cover operations. For 15 months, she'd been the Pentagon's secret weapon against foreign intelligence services. But today was different. Today, her real mission was about to begin. At AO 800, Maria's routine brought her to the Information Systems Corridor, where she always spent extra time cleaning around the servers managing the Pentagon's classified communications networks. While emptying trash cans near the main server room, she noticed something wrong. The rhythmic hum of the servers had changed. Instead of their usual steady purr, there was an irregular pattern suggesting massive data transfers, far beyond normal operations. Maria's training kicked in immediately. She activated the scanner hidden in her cleaning spray bottle and pointed it toward the server room. The readings made her blood run cold. Someone was extracting terabytes of classified data from the Pentagon's most secure systems. This wasn't scheduled backup or routine maintenance. This was a live hack, happening in real time from inside the building. "Excuse me, miss." A voice behind her made Maria turn. A young IT specialist she'd never seen before approached with a friendly smile. "I'm Dave Miller, new to the systems team." "Maria Santos," she replied, maintaining her deferential tone while her mind raced. Dave Miller wasn't on any personnel list she'd memorized. His badge looked legitimate, but something about his posture suggested military training that didn't match his civilian job description. "You're here pretty early," Dave observed, scanning her cleaning cart with casual interest. "Night shift. I finish around 9. "Well, you might want to stay clear of this area. We're running system diagnostics that could be disruptive." Maria nodded and moved away, but every instinct screamed that Dave Miller was the source of the data breach. She ducked into a supply closet and activated her encrypted communication channel. "Control, this is Songbird," she whispered, using her operational codename. "Songbird, we're showing massive data extraction from your location. Can you confirm breach?" "Confirmed. Suspect is IT personnel, designation Dave Miller, not on authorized list. Data theft in progress. Maintain cover and monitor. Do not engage." But as Maria left the closet, she saw Dave Miller wasn't alone. 3 more IT specialists had appeared, carrying equipment that looked more like military communication gear than computer diagnostic tools. This wasn't just a data breach. This was an active intelligence operation inside the Pentagon, and she was the only one who knew about it. For the next 3 hours, Maria watched the fake IT team systematically access the Pentagon's most classified systems. They moved with professional efficiency, avoiding security cameras and rotating positions to maintain the appearance of routine maintenance. But Maria's surveillance equipment told a different story. They were extracting operational plans, troop movements, weapons specifications, and communication protocols, essentially downloading America's entire military playbook. The worst part was how perfectly their cover worked. Real Pentagon staff walked past them constantly, seeing exactly what they expected. IT workers doing ATT work. No one questioned their presence, except for Maria, who had been trained to question everything. At 14:30, the situation escalated dramatically. Maria intercepted a coded transmission from the team's leader, indicating they were preparing for Phase 2. The transmission mentioned asset neutralization and facility lockdown. This wasn't just espionage anymore. They were planning something that would put everyone in the Pentagon at risk. Maria faced an impossible choice. Maintaining cover meant allowing a potential terrorist attack. Breaking cover meant exposing an intelligence operation that had taken years to establish. She made her decision at 14:45, when she overheard Dave Miller speaking in Russian to someone on an encrypted phone. At exactly 1500, Maria Santos stepped out of the shadows and became someone else entirely. "Gentlemen," she said, her voice carrying authority that made all four fake IT specialists freeze. "I'm Agent Maria Santos, CIA Operations Division. You're under arrest for espionage and attempted terrorist activity on United States government property." The transformation was instantaneous and startling. Gone was the deferential cleaning lady who spoke in whispers. In her place stood a trained intelligence operative whose presence filled the corridor with quiet menace. Dave Miller's hand moved toward his jacket, but Maria was faster. In one fluid motion, she drew a concealed weapon and had it trained on him before he could complete his draw. "I wouldn't," she advised calmly. "I've been watching you for 3 hours. I know about the data theft, the communication intercepts, and your plans for Phase 2. The other team members looked at each other uncertainly. They'd been outmaneuvered by someone they'd never considered a threat. "You're a cleaning lady," Dave said, confusion evident. "I'm a lot of things," Maria replied. "Today I'm the person who stopped you from completing your mission. Security teams are already moving to secure the servers you've compromised." Red lights began flashing throughout the corridor as the building's security alert system activated. Maria had triggered the lockdown protocols, sealing the facility and trapping the infiltrators inside. "How?" Dave demanded. Maria smiled, and for the first time in 15 months, it wasn't the pleasant, forgettable expression of a service worker. It was the confident smile of someone who had just completed a successful mission. "Rule number 1 of intelligence work," she said, "never ignore the help. We see everything, hear everything, and remember everything. The invisible woman isn't invisible by accident." The debriefing room at Langley was a study in contrasts. On one side sat 4 foreign intelligence operatives who had spent months planning their Pentagon infiltration. On the other sat Maria Santos, still wearing her cleaning uniform, calmly explaining how she'd identified, tracked, and neutralized their entire operation. Agent Santos first noticed the anomalous server activity at 0800, Director Harrison explained to assembled intelligence officials. She maintained surveillance for 7 hours while continuing her cover identity, gathering evidence before taking action. Maria had removed her ponytail, and her dark hair fell in waves around her shoulders. Without the baggy coveralls, her athletic build and confident posture made it clear she was someone who could handle herself in any situation. The cleaning lady cover was brilliant, admitted Colonel Martinez, the Pentagon security chief. 15 months, and none of our people suspected. That was the point, Maria replied. Deep cover operations work because people see what they expect to see. A beautiful woman pushing a cleaning cart doesn't register as a threat. Director Harrison nodded approvingly. Agent Santos's operation prevented what could have been the largest intelligence breach in U.S. history. The stolen data included operational plans that would have compromised ongoing missions worldwide. What gave them away? Asked General Peterson. Server harmonics, Maria explained. The acoustic signature of mass data extraction is different from normal operations. Plus, their team leader had military bearing that didn't match his civilian cover. Small details, but that's what intelligence work is about. The room fell silent as implications sank in. America's most secure building had been successfully infiltrated by foreign operatives operating undetected for months. Only the presence of a deep cover agent posing as cleaning staff had prevented catastrophic security breach. What's next for Agent Santos? Colonel Martinez asked. Director Harrison smiled. She's being promoted to Special Operations Division. No more cleaning carts. Maria looked almost disappointed. I was getting good at being invisible. Don't worry, Harrison replied. Something tells me you'll find new ways to surprise people. 6 months later, the Pentagon's cleaning staff noticed they had a new supervisor, a strikingly beautiful woman who seemed to know an unusual amount about security protocols and building operations. None of them suspected that Maria Santos had volunteered to return to the Pentagon, this time in her real capacity as a CIA operations coordinator tasked with ensuring America's most important building would never again be vulnerable to infiltration. She still walked the same corridors, still noticed everything, still remembered every face and conversation. But now she did it openly. Her credentials and authority clear to anyone who looked. The invisible woman had chosen to become visible, trading shadows for spotlight. But her most valuable skill remained unchanged. The ability to see what others missed, to remember what others forgot, and to protect what others took for granted. Sometimes the most dangerous person in the room really is the one everyone ignores. But sometimes, if you're lucky, she's on your side. This story was brought to you by Quiet Tales Studio. Have you ever realized you completely overlooked someone who turned out to be extraordinary? Someone whose true capabilities were hidden in plain sight? Share your story in the comments and let us know where you're watching from. If you believe stories like Maria's deserve to be remembered, hit that subscribe button and help us share these tales of hidden strength and invisible heroes. Because at Quiet Tales Studio, we know that the most powerful protectors are often the ones you never see coming. We'll see you in the next one.